Hey, what's going on, world? This is your girl, comedian Queen Aishah, and thank you once again for joining me for another dope episode of I Know Dope People with Queen Aishah. So we are having our dating after marriage conversation, relationship sessions with four of my favorite people. Did Mike put his hands up to let me know? Four of my favorite people. These are all personal friends of mine, and we're going to be talking about marriage. All of us are single as far as I know, except for Michael. He's remarried. If anyone is engaged or enraged, we will talk about that after I do my Queen's Quickies. So just want to touch on some things that has happened over the few days, weeks, months. First thing I want to do is congratulate my girl, Carla, and her new husband, Louis Grooms. They were married in Columbia, South Carolina. This past weekend, my sister Razia went as my date, my plus one. We had a really good time, and it was also great to see so many good vibration people, fellow veterans like Michael Prince is, that came out, and they really came to celebrate and support the newly married couple. So we had a good time, great laughs, and all of that. Me and my sister went to this real dope restaurant called Publico in Columbia, South Carolina, and our waitress Parker was the bomb. She's from like Richmond, Virginia. Her dad is from New Jersey. So I was like, hello, we connected. So congratulations, Carla and Louis. And it was great seeing Destin and Aaliyah as well. We'll talk about Carla mother another day because she was off the hook. She was beautiful, classy, and straight to the point. But we love her. Anyway, the next thing we want to talk about is Peter Thomas. He used to be on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. He was married to the supermodel Cynthia Bailey. He had a restaurant in Baltimore, Maryland called Bar One. It opened in 2021, and as of May of this year, it closed. He allegedly said that the restaurant closed because the employees in Baltimore was stealing. And because they were stealing, he was unable to pay the company's bills, including the vendors, the company wages, the rent, and the taxes. Damn it, they were stealing a lot. Somebody put up on a Facebook page, Peter said, allegedly, if the oxtails was too damn expensive, then just say that. Anyway, Peter, we wish you well. I hope nobody was up in there stealing from cousin Peter Thomas. Another story I want to share with you all. Damian Smith, he is an actor that plays on Snowfall. So he, in 2021, October 14th, and this is from Black Information Network, he called the police because someone broke into his house. The police came out and he was tasered. After explaining to them, he called the police because a man broke into his house. He actually cut the man to kind of back the predator off of him. His neighbor came out screaming, saying like he is a resident here, and they continued to tase this man and mistreat him. So he has a lawsuit with the Los Angeles police. And that is my Queen Aishah Quickies for today. And we are going to get started with my guest. My first guest is the co-host. The special guest co-host today is a personal friend of mine. Me and Mike have been knowing each other oh my gosh, over maybe 20, definitely over 20 years. He's a celebrity chef, actor, co-owner of Two Bones Barbecue. He's a retired veteran, as I stated earlier. He's also a brother of the Omega Psi Phi. He a cute dog, and my big brother in comedy. And we actually had the opportunity. He was so blessed and fortunate to have the opportunity to tour with me in Japan and South Korea for the United States military some years ago. Not that many years ago, but some years ago. We had a really great time, and from the time we met at Laugh-A-Palooza Comedy Festival, we've been connected ever since. He knows my family, I know his family. Mike is the only one, as I stated, who's remarried to the beautiful Erica, his awesome wife. And also we have joining us today, Miss Eboni Caldwell, who is the owner of Productive and Prosperous Empowerment Coaching and Ouch Girl clothing line. We have we co-author our first book together called Dating After Marriage Chronicles, which talks about our dating experiences, which were traumatizing some. We also got life lessons from them and found the humor to keep it moving. We met in the insurance business and we just clicked and had a vibe ever since. Nichelle Johnson is an ordained minister who lets me curse like a sailor after 2 a.m. and she listens and prays for me. At the same time, she is the only grown woman that calls my grown woman ass kiddo, and I accept it. She is a certified preacher. Did I say she is a certified speaker, teacher, and coach, beauty expert, and online beauty editor. She is my encourager, sounding board, and alignment advocate. Get it together. Stay in your lady. No, Queen, go ahead and cuss them out, but go ahead and pray about it afterwards. And my friend Larry, me and Larry have been knowing each other almost 30 years. He is a deacon, the owner and CEO of Next Level Experience, which is a customer service business consultant law firm. He has over 30 years of financial experience. And again, as I stated, we've been friends for about 30 years or coming up on 30 years. And as I stated, these are my friends. I've met different parts and journeys of my life, and these my people. And we all, except for one, single. We in these dating single streets. Anybody can our last session. Face, she like, nah, son. So I'm going to turn it over to my big brother, my special guest co-host, Michael Prince, who is coming to us from Fresno, Texas, which is near Dallas, Texas. Is that
Fresno,
over by the Toyota soccer field. Frisco, yes. Texas. Thank you. I get to chill.
Thank you. Peace to everyone out there. I'd just like to say hello to my fellow panel, Nichelle, Eboni. Listen, y'all have got to understand, I'm looking, and Larry done lost so much weight. He said he only lost 5 pounds, but that's a lot of 5 pounds. That's a lot of 5 pounds.
It's all in his cheeks.
Yes, indeed. That's that old person with something wrong with you, baby. That's something.
Ignorant.
But I just want to say hello to everybody. Before we get started, let me just explain how we're gonna do this tonight. We're gonna be very candid in our questions, so I would love for you to be very candid in your answers. Beverly, how you doing? I just want to say this, and I'm gonna say this very candidly. My questions came from the heart, and this book that I got sitting beside me. But anyway, we ain't gonna talk about that. So, my first question is going to be for the whole panel. And I want everybody to just be open and honest, because we're gonna start with a little foreplay and we're gonna end up with some amazing. Let me stop playing. Okay, so yeah. So my first question, and this is something that I've been experiencing probably the last 20, 25 years. What is your full stop red flag if you're dating someone? I'm gonna start with Larry. If there's something that you say, okay, I will not do this if this person is da 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 da.
Controlling.
Why do you say that?
That's a red flag for me, because if you're very controlling, then there's no compromising in the end we can't meet each other halfway because you want to control everything. So for me, that's a huge red flag.
Okay.
I would say for me, that's a good one, Larry, and I think it kind of goes with mine. It would be insecurity. I think as human beings, we all have insecurity, but you know that real strong, which goes into controlling, because they're so insecure they want to control. I guess you would call it narcissistic also. I think we all tap into some of that, but there's still, when it's just like for real in your face, I'm like, no, I'm good.
Nichelle?
Toxic communication. Like I really, I feel like we all, first of all, you're not going to date yourself. Let's just say that. So you got to understand that all these things that in a perfect world, that's fine. But at the end of the day, some things don't even come out till later down the road. However, what I do not tolerate toxic communication.
Explain that.
Like there's a right way to, sometimes people have triggers. And there are ways to, if you're having a trigger, and first of all, if you cuss at me, we're done. Like I can handle it, but we're done. Why? Because if I gotta keep getting the blood quick to me, the blood of Christ, that means you messing with some areas that God has delivered me from. I don't need that extra stress. I just don't. Because when we communicate, like, I was dating someone and they had these triggers, and the bottom line was that I'm okay with you communicating and saying, I'm feeling some kind of way about this. But if your feeling about it is taking you over the top every time, like when nobody knows what your next trigger will be, or your next trigger will be, no, that's too much work. You're not healed. And you need to sit with yourself for a little while before you invite somebody else in your world.
There you go.
Eboni?
Period.
2 periods. Everything above and a smoker. I don't like smoking, so
yeah. I don't like smoking.
You smell like cigarettes. You look like a cigarette. Any type of body odor, it's the ISO.
I love it.
Okay.
Ebony, what about a cigar?
Is the cigar okay?
What you say, Larry and Mike?
I said, what about a cigar?
I can't. Go ahead, Ebony.
It's just still the smoke for me. I've dated a guy who was like forcing me to go to a cigar and talking about, well, you'll like it, sooner or later you're smoking. I was like, we good.
I don't even really, for me, the smoking thing I'm not into. Even with shows, I really like the hookah. That's a big thing now. I'm not interested because I enjoy what I do as a performer. Yeah. But what if I want to wear that outfit the next day?
Or you got to turn it in to the store you got it from.
Now I got it. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't want later on, like things that I know that I can avoid, just to avoid them. I'm not interested. Like,
yeah.
And it's so funny because I will deal with someone that drinks, like occasional social drinking.
Right.
That's smoking, even marijuana.
Smoking,
like
that's a wrap.
Yeah, that's a thing for me. I'm like,
I would say this. Mine is excessive drinking. I dated a girl before I got married. Beautiful, had life in order, had anything that she wanted, she could go get. Very nice job, house. I mean, she had everything. But she drank all the time. I mean, it was in her coffee. It was.
I'm not doing this.
Functional. She was a functional.
And it be for real.
I don't know if you can call it that, but she was a functional drinking person.
Yeah.
Let's just say it like that.
Yeah.
And for the life of me, I didn't know if I was dating her or the alcohol. I didn't know what she was.
Well, that's real, though.
Yeah, it is.
That's for real.
Yeah, I dated someone like that. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's a true statement, because the thing, if the person is always whether it's marijuana, drinking, whatever, if it's something that they always have to do, that is an addiction. And then who are you? right? And then when you don't have your addiction, your medicine, right? How this going down?
Who are you?
That's like, and Nichelle said, you out and you cutting up. You're not going with me like that. No, I'm good. No, thank you. That's the same thing as a temper tantrum. You know what I'm saying? Like, who gonna show up? I'm not doing that. And then who am I? I'm not seeing who you are. We're not able to really meet and see one another and see who might like performers.
Yeah.
Not knocking people that drink and smoke, but you have performers that go on stage and they be high as a kite.
Yeah.
Like, I don't drink and I really don't eat before going on stage. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I get all of it, whether it's a great show or okay show. You know what I'm saying? You get to feel and experience all of it. So with a relationship, to me, is the same thing, even if it's not a relationship, just meeting.
So this segues me into the second part of this question. And the second part of this question: have you ever ignored your red flag in a relationship that you really wanted? Have you ever ignored it?
In the real world, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it, Queen.
You know, I learned something.
Go ahead. Let Nichelle go. Go ahead.
I learned something. So it's funny because I was dating somebody. I was like, oh, this person hadn't drank in a couple of days. Well, you know, I was like, oh, okay. So then I was like, and then I realized, oh, you can't smell white liquor. And I said, oh.
The clear
changed.
Right. So here's the thing. I'm in prayer about everything in my life all the time. Reveal it, whatever it is, reveal it, because I'm a person. I don't, we like to think we that spiritually, the bomb, but some things God will hide from you so that you can get the experience first of all before you learn what's going on. And so I was just like, okay, let me see what's really going on. And then I happened to just catch this person with a shorty, and I was like, yeah, now that's something different. Because if you got a shorty on a weekday, I'm like, no. Because what it was saying to me is that I have something to hide. And what it did was because honestly, I don't make you feel like you can't be yourself. I never do that. I want people to be free to be who they are, because let me decide. That's why I don't like it when people withhold is deception, certain things that they need to say, because you have to give that person a chance to decide for themselves. So just be who you are. So when you sneak in and you get in a drink, so that tells me that's something that you're withholding that's bigger than what you're showing me. And it was, and I was like, and it was also causing, it's what you said, Mike. I don't know who I'm with, because if I have to be with an altered state of you, that's a problem for me, because I'm always 100, sometimes 1,000, and that you got to say. So you might can handle 1,000 if you under the influence, but if you not, you might can't handle 1,000.
Right.
Then we got another problem, because then we have so so I understand that. That's exactly right. And then everybody has their own triggers from their families. Like alcoholism was in my family, so like that's huge for me. Like, I need to know. Do you just like wine? Do you like hard liquor? Do you like a little cocktail? I need to know that. I mean, I'm not, that's going to be, there's a lot of saved people that they drink. And I'm like, well, that, that's between you and God. You do what you're going to do. But if you're drinking every day, we're not going to do this.
What about yours, Queen? You ignore the red flag? What was it?
I will say this. The first one that comes up, well, two of them that come up. One is I'm not pursuing a man. If you want to keep me, you need to, the same way you move, look at me face, the same way you step to me, you need to do. And here's my thing, and I like to give the benefit of the doubt, but some stuff just go with the doubt and just take it for what it is. Wow. And then a man that is insecure, which can also lead to jealousy. So I know that I am, and when I say this, I am a lot, meaning I'm a personality, but I'm not going to, and when I say personality, I'm just still talking about a public figure. My personality, who Aishah is, right? It can be, I shine a light. You understand? I light up a room. So if it's a personality, a guy that cannot, he's not comfortable with that, that's going to be a problem, because I'm not dumbing myself down for you.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I used to not tell people in the beginning like that I was an entertainer. Now, here's the thing: depending on what we're talking about and how I think this is gonna go down, I'm not really giving you everything anyway. You understand what I'm saying? And then also you got to give a little at a time, to see who they are.
Yeah.
You understand?
Right.
Give a little at a time. So I'm not dealing with anybody. If I don't have a problem calling, but if I see if it's lopsided, I'm pulling all the way back. I'm pulling these reins all the way back. It's like going to the party. My mother said, you ain't got to be the first one there or the last one to leave. I'm not doing that. And if you're insecure, that means you're jealous. And that means that you're not a rider for me. You understand? You're not going to have my back. You're not going to be able to protect me. Period.
So, but you're saying that you've ignored that before in the past.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, one thing I'm learning is just to be quiet.
Yeah.
And just watch and then tune in, right? So my thing is I just tune in and things, and it's so funny because just in the last 6 months or so, like my intuition, I'll be calling my friends and telling them stuff. They be like, what happened? Stuff would just come to me in a dream or a little whisper in my ear or a flash or something. Just those types of things. And sometimes I'll be like, because sometimes I like to be petty. And I might lead the person into something and ask a question or just see how the response is going to go. But in some of it ain't even worth it. But yeah, with dudes, I'm not doing it. I'm not chasing a dude. Like, perfect example. I met this guy the other day. He was like, I'm trying to, he said, wife you or lock me down. Just met sir. He texted me one time. He was a grown man. He texted me one time and was like, oh, I look forward to getting to meet you. And I addressed, I said, oh, I look forward to getting to meet you too, blah, blah, blah. I ain't heard from him since. What I've learned to do, I lock your number in so I can recognize who you is. I gave him, I think, a week. Then he was deleted. I'm growing up in my maturity level. I stopped blocking people. Another guy called me for the first time and he just started talking to me like I'm supposed to know who he is. Hello, who are you? Who am I speaking with? Don't play me. Because see, that type of stuff, those little things right there, that's controlling, manipulative stuff. You calling me and you just talking to me like you're the only one. Where they do that at? I'm done.
Okay. So now, Nichelle, you're not absent from this. Have you ever ignored a red flag?
I have because, this is why. Now, y'all know, listen, I'm very transparent when I want to be. I have ignored it because I use it as teachable moments for other people. So yes, I have ignored it. And this is why you have to know where you are. You have to know where you are in your life. And when people come in your life, you have to know where you are, because if you come in my life and I'm thirsty, dirty water look good.
What water?
Dirty water. If I'm thirsty, dirty water tastes good. So that's why you have to know. And what happened, when I met this person at a time in my life I had been through a couple of different things. And I just wanted to kind of exhale. And they came initially lovely, right? But they had a situation, a trauma situation. And I don't desire a trauma bond, but against my better judgment, I ignored. I knew this person wasn't ready. How did I know? I knew that by the Spirit of the Lord. I knew just because God was like, you already know what that's not good. Because I've been through therapy, so I know I can identify things quick. Just forget about just the fact that you discern, but just to common sense. If you've done your work, then you can see when the work is not done, right? So I said, this is not going to be good. And someone said, this is why you don't tell your girlfriends everything. Oh, come on, just you need to just a break. And it was right. I needed the break. I did. But I didn't need to pull up a chair. I should have just had a little break. Went to, had my couple, and then been okay.
Bye, keep it moving.
And so really, honestly, I really did this person. They were really, really cool, but they were healed. And they needed the time for themselves. And I gave that to them. I left to give that to them. Not because I didn't think that we had a great connection, but I had to be fair to myself. But more importantly, let's just face it. Okay, it's not always just about you. If we're showing up for each other and we're a community, like sometimes do what's best for the person as well. Like, honestly, you're not ready for me. And I'm not ready for you. I don't want to be ready for that, because that's the level of trauma I've already been through, and I don't want to trauma bond with you, right? But you're not ready for me because you need time to find out who you are after that situation, right?
So Ebony, have you ever ignored a red flag?
Yeah, plenty of times.
Yeah.
Why did
before
you ignore it? Is the question.
Have I ignored it?
No, why did you ignore it?
But you know what? I ignored it because I wanted to be with someone at that point in time.
Period.
That's a real thing.
That's a real. That's
I'm
real.
being
That's
honest.
the real deal.
I'm being transparent
That's
because I
real.
wanted to be with someone at that
Yeah.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 And
That's it. You just want to be with
Yeah,
somebody.
that's it. I can't even say nothing else. That's just
I love it. I love it.
Drop the mic.
I'm gonna add
Drop
this
the mic.
before we get into the men. I'm gonna say this because I know them both. Women are nurturers,
Yeah.
right? So I think innately, whether we speak it or not, we go in thinking if we see it that we can fix and heal. You understand? And then next thing you know, you got a soul tie with somebody that don't even know how to tie shoes right. You understand what I'm saying? Nothing. So I want to put, because that's a real ass thing.
It's
Yeah.
real.
You know?
But now that's the past. Now, as of right now, the Ebony that I am now, no.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna debate with you about it or anything. I'm not even gonna argue. I'll be like, no, we good. Thanks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Larry, tell us about your red flag you ignored.
So I think I ignored the red flag because I look at it like this. I think sometimes we win and sometimes we learn, but we never lose. And I take those experiences in my younger days those were experiences that I learned from. But what I've also, now that I'm older, I won't allow anybody to bleed on me anymore. When I say bleed on me, is bring all of your past relationships into this relationship. And now I'm the other 5 men that you've dated in your past, and I'm LP. I'm not those men that you dated. So finding that happy medium between you and that person, and identifying those red flags early on. I'll hang in there with you to see if maybe we can meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
But if I tell you this is not working for me and you don't hear me, the next step is you won't see me.
I know that's right.
Ooh, you better say it. Yeah.
I like the way you said that. You said something good.
You won't see me.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Okay, so and I want to share mine as well. I ignored a red flag. Like I said, I did date, but I gave myself a year after divorce, a whole year, just not to go on any dates. I was just to myself. I had to go through my forgiveness phase. I had to learn how to love Michael again. I need to learn what was wrong with me in the marriage that broke it, so that I can repair that. And I tell people this story all the time. I dropped so much baggage in my journey to get back to myself. I dropped comedy. I dropped a lot of things after my divorce so that I could get myself back to where I wanted to be. So one of the things that I learned was, if you go into a relationship, whether it's a rebound relationship or whether it's a relationship that is you want to go and see if it will work with someone who you dated earlier, you going into a relationship with baggage is not going to work. If you go into that relationship with one hand of baggage, which means just a little bit of baggage, is not going to work. But if you go into a relationship with both hands empty, and I tell people this story all the time, both hands, so that I can wrap my arms around the person that I'm into, it's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. It's going to start out good. It's going to start out right. And a lot of women that I noticed when I was dating, they just want things to be in order. And it's just that simple. And I had to learn that. I didn't know that.
They want things to be, Mike, you went out. Say that again. In order, gotcha.
In order.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And because there's an order to things. I mean, I remember before I met Erica. Yeah, I remember when I first came, and my 1 year I came out of that, and I met this lady, and I said, we're going to be first name only until we learn each other. As we go through these stages, you'll learn more about me. You'll learn this. You'll learn that, and eventually you'll learn my whole name in my life.
And
but for right now, we are on first name basis. My name's Michael. Your name is whatever.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all we need to do.
Good tip. Good tip.
Don't look for me on social media. We make a promise. I mean, don't look for me, because I'm not going to look for you. And I know that's a hard question to ask, but just try it, because
them driving license tags.
Yeah, that's a form of what old people call courting. That's how you court, is you learn a person, and that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Now, I like what you said though. I like what you said. That I want to say something about that.
Yes.
That not looking at each other's social media pages, because honestly, what you're saying is that let's just start this raw. Let's start from the ground up, because it doesn't matter. Like all that stuff. That's unfortunate about where we are, because everybody's what's your IG? Why? Because I don't even know if I want to don't friend me, because I'm probably then you're gonna be mad.
And Nichelle,
I'm not going to accept. Like I'm not going to accept it. I'm honestly. I'm just because. I want to just be. Let's just see what this is. I love that, because to me it's mature, and what it does it makes you operate in a level of discipline.
there you go.
And see that's because we have all that. Let me see it. That's control. That's a control spirit. I gotta see what they're doing. Let me see. No, we're not doing that.
That's a good point, because I look at some friends and I be looking like they doing too much, and who you are in real life is not who you are here. And now when I look at your page, I'm side-eyeing all this shit, because who is you? Is you IG or is you real life? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if Aishah Hogan's was not in entertainment, I really people be like, you gotta post more. You gotta post more. First of all, y'all need to know every move I make. This how people get having issues. We ain't gonna speak it, but this how people be having issues. We ain't got to do all of that. So, Mike, you dropped the real one, my brother. You dropped the real one.
That's a nice little nugget. Huh? That was a nice nugget. I got a few more coming. So look, we're gonna move on. We're gonna try to move on. And this is a very deep question, but I want to start this out so that everybody understands. And this question is very simple. Does spirituality matter? And the only reason I'm asking this question is that I see the millennials, I see the younger, the 25, the 30s. I even see my son. It's not about church, or it's not about God. It's not about my spirituality, my relationship with God. It's not about that anymore.
And that's why the therapists are getting ready to get big time paid. That's why. That's why the church is getting ready to get packed again, because go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
They get big time paid.
What's the question? Does spirituality matter?
Yes, it matters. It matters to me, because that's my center. Right? So if our centers don't look the same, then you know it. Come on, you know, Mike. We never going to agree, because how can two walk together except they be agreed? We got to get the basics right first. Because I'm not struggling with stuff that I just been living very blessed with all my life. Now I'm not doing that. But to your point, you're right. Because we're taking on all these other ideologies and we try to make it work because we want to just get along and go along. No. And then you want to know why your child is 16 years old wanting to commit suicide. Why? Because they're going against the grain of what you put in them, their center. Yeah. Some people you just not going to connect with. You just not. I'm okay with that. Yeah. I'm very okay with that.
And like the young man, like the Farah, I can't say his name. And like you said, there's spirituality.
That's my sister, Razia.
There's spirituality, and then there's religion, and you have to know how to decipher the two, because they are two separate things. They are not the same. And my perfect example of that is I dated a lady who was a Buddhist. And I'm a Baptist, and we both believe in a higher power, a being that is there, that is giving us everything we have. We had that equally yoked on that.
Right.
But there were some things that I had to raise my eyebrow and say, wait, what did you say? But that's again spirituality and religion.
Yes.
Because as long as you're spiritual, we're gonna work.
Yes.
Because we're all worshiping the same thing. But if you're gonna put religion down my throat, we ain't gonna be able to make it, because I may not believe in what you believe. But to your point, Queen, go ahead.
Yeah, so I will say this. So in my former marriage, my former husband is Muslim, and I was born into Islam, and I practice Buddhism. So anytime people came to our house, they're always like, yo, y'all vibe, the energy here is clean, it's pure, that type of thing. we didn't get into, because our base, like you said, the core spirituality of like, we believe in something higher and greater than ourselves. And it's common respect of certain things. You know what I'm saying? That we had those things. Spirituality is very important to me because it sets boundaries. It lets you know that I believe in something greater than myself, that I know it ain't me. I ain't the end all and be all. So with spirituality, it teaches you, one, again, you believe in something greater than yourself. Two, to look out for the next person. You understand? To think and consider that person, to have compassion, to honor and cherish somebody outside of yourself. And the reason we have a lot of issues, and I want to say that a lot of the issues, I think, comes when it comes to religion. We don't have to agree with someone's way of life, whether we want to call it spirituality or religion, what they eat, how they dress, but we got to respect it. That's why I tell people, if you go around a corner, if we go further than around a corner from our house, we'll be able to learn things and respect people. That's why I think traveling is so important. Talking to people that don't look like you is so important.
It is.
So yes, spirituality is definitely important to me.
Ebony?
I'm with the spirituality. It's important to me as well. I think it was something that Nichelle, no, it might have been Michael, but just loving yourself is my thing. So, spirituality, loving yourself and respecting yourself, I respect that. So, and that's even with me. If I respect and love myself, the person who comes to me will have to see that respect and love for myself and going to have to respect all of that. So, yeah, spirituality, religion is not my thing. I feel it causes a lot of divisiveness. That's just me. So, but spirituality is awesome. Yeah, I'm down with that.
And we can only attract to us what we're ready for and who we are.
Yeah.
So when somebody shows up in our life a certain way, it's something in us. It's a mirror. That's one thing Buddhism teaches about the mirror. It's a mirror in you, something you may need to address.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And it might just be a drive-by. That's it. It don't be, so sometimes they the star and you the the supporting actor. Your ass don't need to be there. You know what I'm saying?
So you stand for a reason or a season, maybe?
Or a lifetime. There you go. Reason, season, or a lifetime.
And move on.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to move this on. I'm gonna pedal my bike a little bit. But this
But
is a
I'm
old
gonna add one thing to
Let
that.
Larry, go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
gonna add one thing
Larry,
to
go
that.
ahead. I'm sorry.
When you talk about spirituality, I'm just going to say for me,
Right.
I still need to know what your spirituality walk
Thank
is.
you. I was, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
some people,
walking with the spirit of marijuana.
no, they worship witches and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. I'm just speaking for me.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
can't get
It's
with
true.
that. So
Yeah.
spirituality is very important to me. And yes,
Yeah.
I can ask you about it. Yes, you can ask me about it. But you have some people out here, but they worship witches and witchcraft and
Yeah.
voodoo and all that kind of stuff. So they consider that their spirituality.
And
Yeah.
you're right.
And
And you have to be very specific. I like that you said that, Mike, because for me, and Queen knows I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
Not going to apologize for that. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Probably not going to, but I'm probably not. I have dated someone who was spiritual but wasn't a Christian. It didn't work for me. It didn't work. Because there's so many things that come from my core that if you don't understand the basis of just that in my life, we won't meet on a whole lot of things. Right. That's too much work for me. Relationship, becoming one is hard enough. For us not to have the same core in terms of what we believe. That's me. I'm a Christian. The Lord Jesus says He's my Savior. That's if we don't get there. And see, what happens is, what I find is that sometimes we dummy down so I can't do it.
Yeah.
No.
Of course.
I can't do it. I won't do it.
And
I mean, like, okay, I think you're beautiful. Bless you. See, on your way. I bid you on your way.
But Nichelle, that's why the questions have to be asked, and that's why how Michael say, let's take time first of all, first name basis, and it's because I like the phone calls, talking to you and getting to know you over the phone. I love that stuff.
Yeah,
taking my time with that, going out for coffee. I don't have to get dressed up and go to a lavish restaurant. I can sit down and have coffee with you.
Yeah,
at Starbucks and have a conversation. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something, real quick. Ebony brought up a good point. We not texting. We not there. What you hiding? And I'm to the point, and I can't. Because this guy said to me, the same one they called and they say his name. He was like, "Oh, I want to take you to dinner, and I want to bring you." He said, "I want to cook you dinner, and I want to bring you some roses." And I said to him, "This just what I said." Excuse me. I said, "Who the fuck coming to your house?" I ain't say that to him in my head. I said, because I'm like, I don't even know you. Like, no offense. I'm supposed to be impressed by that. That's nice. That's cute. But somebody don't go, oh my God, I ain't know about me. Like, do you know Trader Joe's got bomb ass flowers? Like, come on, I come on my own flowers. But I'm not coming to your house. I don't know what your splashboard look like in the back of your oven. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm not giving my time. Like my sister always say, girl, get your free meals. We going to Starbucks. Because I don't know if I want to sit down to dinner with you for that long and exchange that energy with you. I can go to dinner with Larry. Okay. Yeah. Oh, and I'm gonna say this real quick, y'all. I gotta say this. This is another thing I came up with. This came to me the other day, and I said, and I have great male friends, including you two, and I know how you all will go out for me, right? Yeah. If guys that want to date me cannot come to your level, my brother's levels, I'm not interested because they want more from me than y'all want. Yeah. So if you can't come there, I told Ernest, Larry, that I'm gonna have to stop talking about him because dudes is getting intimidated. Because see, people don't understand that male and females can be friends and not have nothing. These are guys I've been friends with almost 30 years. Yeah. And if I call and say something, want to have a discussion, need whatever, they're there. Queen, you good with? You see what I'm saying? So these are guys that we people, and y'all want to smash and all this. No, I'm good. No, thank you. I got batteries.
When I try to teach Madison that, I try to teach Madison that.
Look at the chef. We'll talk later.
I will say this though, and most men, and I'll say most men need to really understand this small sentence. Intimacy is a conversation. And it's that simple when it comes to a woman. Intimacy is just a conversation.
That's all.
Y'all could be talking on the phone, and we could be talking about the color of a damn cardboard box, but we're having an intimate conversation about the box. And men don't understand that it takes time to get a woman where you want her to be. And the first place that you go is mental. You want them to mentally feel comfortable with you.
Yeah.
And everything else, and like my mom said, when you mentally feel a person, everything else just loosens and relaxes from your head down to your toes. So
somebody asked me what I'm attracted to in a man or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. And I said, what can I learn from you? What can I learn from you?
To what Mike said, I never forget, I was probably about 26 years old. And there was a guy, and he liked me a lot. And everybody liked him, but I didn't like him. But he was more obsessed with the fact that I didn't like him. And one day he said, well, how come you don't like me? I said, I don't know. And he said to me, he said, baby, don't ever forget this. He said, you doing it, but you don't know what it is. And I said, what? He said, it's a gentleman's game. It's a lady's choice. And I never forgot that. And that is literally, if I had to sum up how I remember that every single time I meet anybody, it is his game and it's his chase. Yeah. It is my choice if I want to be caught. Bottom line. If you chase me with the right stuff, you might catch me.
Preach, Nichelle. Preach, girl. Preach.
I just never forgot that. And I teach that to my nieces. I never forgot that because it's not about, first of all, why are we even talking about the get down? We how old are we? Don't we know what that is? Listen, we know what that is. We don't need it. That's nothing mystical. We ain't got to talk about that. Really, it's not. Let me see what your chase is because the chase represents your endurance. Yeah, that tells me what you got in you. Yeah, it tells me how you can control your spirit, control yourself. How much self-control you got.
I ask my young nieces this all the time, and I say this to them because I want them to understand that there is something that they need to keep in mind. And I ask them, I say, you rather be cherished or chased?
Cherished, of course.
Yes, cherished. But they got to know the chase before they can get cherished. Listen. You acting like, because I'm the man. Go. But you go ahead and be the man over at Susie's house, not over here.
Because if you allow them to chase you, they will get to the cherish because they know it wasn't easy.
Exactly.
They know it wasn't easy, that
Exactly.
you're not easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you brought me something to eat. And it's so funny you talk about your nieces, Mike, and I always say for my nieces and nephews, like, it's our responsibility to show them greatness, to show them niceness, and sweet, because get it from your family. So when someone takes them out and they go to dinner, they don't feel like they owe anybody anything. They got to act like they ain't never been no damn where before, and that they don't know how to use silverware and a cloth napkin. You understand? It's your family's responsibility to show you those things. So I give them that when they get flowers, just because you get the flowers. You go on to dinner just because, like me and my sister was talking about one of my nieces. She said her favorite restaurant was McDonald's. Excuse me. No, it's not. So we're like, no, we taking her out to eat where she's been, but evidently she ain't really paid attention. And I think she's going to be 11 coming up. So she needs to see more of that. You know what I'm saying? To be able to sit down, all of those things are important. So they can get them young.
Okay. So I'm gonna pivot, and Ebony, we're gonna start out with you. And I want everybody to think about it before they even answer this question, because it's such a deep question. Is the 80-20 rule outdated?
What's 80-20, Mike? Explain it.
Thank you.
You take 80% of a man, that's the good part, and the 20% of the bad part. Is that outdated now? Is it outdated with and I'm talking with social media and everything that comes with a man, everything that comes with a woman. Is it outdated?
I'm gonna be honest. I never really practiced the 80-20. I'm not even into that, so it's not something I can answer and be like straightforward with, because it's not. That is just not something I don't know, because everyone has flaws. Everyone has everybody. No one is perfect. No one is perfect.
And the only reason I ask this question is everybody has flaws.
Yeah.
Everybody has flaws. Do you accept that person for his flaws, even though he may have a tiny penis, he may have a PTSD, he may have stinky feet, and toenails may be too long. But what I'm trying to tell you is,
I take stinky feet over a small penis any day. I'm sorry.
No, we're not going down this road. We're not going down this road. Nope. We'll bring that right on. Bring that train right back on the track.
I just wanted to say that real quick. But
bring that train back on the track.
I was on 80-20. But do you accept a man or a woman in spite of their small nuances or small differences?
It depends on if they're working on it. It depends on what they're doing. It depends on what they're on and what they're doing. I mean, I'm not gonna do Build-A-Bear. I'm gonna be honest. I'm at the age. I'm not doing Build-A-Bear. So I can definitely.
That's real.
Because everyone has challenges.
No,
I know everyone has challenges, and I can accept it, but it just depends on what it is. So it depends on what that building is. That's all. And that's it. I ain't gonna take too much time.
I Build-A-Bear.
Larry?
No, it's for real.
So for me, the 80-20 rule. So I want a person to accept me for my authentic self, and I want to accept them for their authentic self. No one is perfect. No one is perfect. But I don't expect if I do something that you don't like, that you're going to blow up every time that I do this. If I left the toilet seat up and you're going to blow up because I left the toilet seat up. I mean, those things to me are just, you're working through that, or it's a form of a communication. So for me, I'll accept you for who you are. You accept me for who I am. And we work it out in the middle somewhere along the way that, because I'm not going to like everything about you. You're not going to like everything about me. But at least we're working on it, and it doesn't lead to a misunderstanding every time this comes up. Because to me, I'm going back to your red flag. That ain't no 80-20 rule right there. That's a red flag. And
that's why I said it depends on what it is.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now, if it's something that you can't deal with, but women tend to, and this is with women, and I don't mean this as a disrespect, women tend to overlook things in a man that they think they can repair.
But that's the nurturer.
Well, let me tell you what my mother said.
To some point.
Let me tell you what my mother said. And y'all can write this down, because I take this to the bank every day. And she is with Jesus. Understand me? She gone. She said, a half a loaf of bread is not better than a whole loaf if I'm choking on every slice. Okay?
Let me write that
So
down.
whatever that
Let me
80-20
write that
is, or
down.
50-50, or 20, if you choke on every slice of the part that you got, it ain't better. It's just you just have to find out, because at the end of the day, like this 80-20 stuff, you know what I say, men just show up.
To me.
Just show up in your gentleman. Ladies, just show up in your lady.
Yeah, just everybody show up as your
lady up. Get your gentleman up. And we can just, because honestly, I think what's happening is women are being too masculine. Because first of all, and there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. But we have to just kind of, because what I'm finding is that the more I chill out, the more I don't have to ask all the, I have to do any of that, because that's a part of control. It's like, you're not going to hurt me. I'm not going to be played. Nope, I'm not worried about that anymore. I'm so comfortable now that when God showed me it the first time, I'm not stressing. Okay, let's just thank you. I had a great time. I'm off.
Yeah,
I'm not upset. We just it doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit.
Yes.
But for me, I have to show up in my lady. I have to do it. I cannot. You're a grown man. I can't. I don't want to control. If I gotta get around you and still feel like I gotta be in control, I don't need you. I make all the decisions in my house. I don't need that. I need you to show me what you got, because I want to lay some of this stuff down. And women are not being honest to say, yeah, you bossing, but do you really want to be bossing like that? You want to make every decision? I don't. Right. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay saying that.
Yes, go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just gonna segue on. Have you ever find yourself being the man in the relationship if you're a woman, or feeling like you're less than a man if you're, being treated wrong by a woman as a man? I mean, do you feel? Again, I've been there, and I can't say it was a comfortable feeling, but it was a scrap to try to get out of that, because that was the way they were programmed. So, and I'm not trying to reprogram anybody, but there's something called respect for one another that we need to have in this relationship. So nobody has changed, but let's just have a little respect for one another. You want to say one, Queen? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say what Nichelle said. Like, we really have to be more feminine, and that doesn't mean you're weak, because actually you're being feminine is actually very strong and sensual and sexy. We're always taking out the trash, doing this as a woman. If you're single and you're not in a relationship, so I want a man to come along to be able to do these things, not control me, because we're gonna have a conflict, right? But to be able so my shoulders can melt into my spine. You understand what I'm saying? I can step with my left side. I can be gentle. I can try to cross my thigh across my other thigh and sit and poke my chest out. Those types of things. And these aren't things that are necessarily material things. These aren't things that are food and restaurant. We can sit. I'm the type of person, me and someone, we can sit and we can talk in your home, my home, a park or whatever. That don't mean we're not going out in public. We should spend time together out. But I just think that we have to get to another space. I think that women, we are too aggressive. And I know sometimes we're too aggressive. We're too manly. But I think that when we stay in the moment and we stay conscious, then we'll stay in, as Nichelle say, your lady in your sweet spot. And then men, you can't, I think men, because they've been hurt, they're wondering why we all been hurt. Why is she going to come off right? Is she, just trust the process. Like Nichelle, because when you slow down and you chill, it's going to all show up. It's what you can manage or not, because ain't none of us perfect. And that 80-20 rule, show up as your authentic self. Let me show up as my authentic self, and let's see how we can work it together.
It's flow harmoniously.
Just flow.
Go ahead, Ebony. Go ahead, Ebony.
Float on.
But I mean, and I know we only got like maybe 3 minutes left, but I do want to say to everybody, Queen mentioned something that was my very last question, and it was about insecurities. And I think are insecurities for the person who is insecure to fix, or is it for the person who is experiencing the insecurities with you to help you fix it?
I'll start that one. I think it's where you are in life, because I can see in my younger LP where there were times where I was insecure about some things, but now that I'm older and wiser, that doesn't work for me anymore. And
Yeah.
I love what what's her name? Maya Angelou said. She said, when a person shows you the first time who they are, believe them the first time.
Mm-hmm.
That has worked for me.
Yeah. Mike disappeared. Ebony, you want to add to that?
Girl, repeat the question. Oh, insecurities. I think a person can help, but maybe this is my age. I'm not as old. I'm 48, about to be 48. So I feel that a person can take care if they can work on themselves first and come in loving yourself. I respect the man loving himself first, then coming in insecure. I'd rather for you to already love yourself first, and I respect that. I'll just leave it at that. I don't know. Y'all go ahead.
Yeah, I had a man tell me that I was too. I had my. I can't even get it out.
Because it bothers you can't even get it out, Nichelle.
He told me you too secure with yourself. I was like,
wait, what?
I said, huh, what? He said I had too much. My self-esteem was too high, and I said to myself, "This ain't going nowhere."
Did he explain?
So you know what? He didn't, but he didn't have to, because and can I be honest with you? So I'm a person. I really do like for people to just really. I like to see who people are and what. I really like to know why you are the way you are. I do, because I think that what we don't do is we don't spend enough time understanding the backdrop of people. I heard a story today that broke my heart. I heard a story today about someone, and I wanted to know what, why. And when they told me what happened to them at 16, it shifted everything for me, because we are all grown adults working out childhood trauma. That's all we are.
Yeah.
Period. Some deeper than others, right? So when the person told me that, when they said that to me, I just filed it, because as a lady, I don't have to address everything. I don't. I filed it. I said, okay. And I kept talking, and it wasn't my last time talking to them. Because as the time went on, I understood this person was dropped. This was a gentleman that was dropped by his mother at a very young age. So, but what I understood is that mother issues for a man is different than for a woman, and that can lead into some very ugly things for the woman that he could be dating.
And that's another whole nother topic.
That's another topic.
Oh, that's a big one right there.
Yeah, so until you can address that in therapy, really, I mean, seriously,
I've dealt with
we can't, because what's going to happen is, see, I came from I know what that is. I know what parents look like who are toxic, and what happens as a child, you say, oh, that's not going to be me. So that ain't going to be me. So I need you to. You know what I'm saying? So it was good, but because I care so much about you and your well-being, I really do. I need you. You need to get that right, so that whoever you're with, it'll be good, and you can see that your mother wasn't that. She doesn't represent every woman. That's right. She was just who you had, but she doesn't represent all of us. You know, and that's a deep journey. But I had that experience, and I was like, okay, when it unfolded, I understood. But unfortunately,
that's a whole nother topic that we have to, because
fix it. Women are fixers, and we have to say, I can't fix that. Right. I don't know I can't fix that.
I'll be the first one to say that I agree wholeheartedly with you, Nichelle. And I finished all my questions. Thank you all for answering all my questions I had. I know Queen was like, "What in the world are you gonna ask?"
No, Mike, you did. No, I think that it was very, very good insight, and I'm sitting here like, we got to have a part 2, because I think the part about the guy is important. We're gonna wrap this up because I don't want us to have to edit it when we go to do a replay. But I'm gonna hit y'all up for another date. I appreciate and love each and every one of you. Everybody that's watching, that's watching in real time, will watch later. YouTube channel Queen Aishah, QUEENAISHAH, Facebook, Twitter, all them places y'all can see me. I just want to leave y'all with this affirmation, and Nichelle talked about this a little bit earlier. When you want something different for your life, you have to move different. Old keys will not unlock new doors. Peace and blessings. It's been another dope episode of Queen Aishah. I know dope people, dating, relationships. Bye, Michael. Love you. Thank you.
Y'all be good.
Bye, Nichelle. Bye. Bye, Larry. Thank you for Tanya. Thank you everybody for watching. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.